that time of year again. Yes, it's October. And it snuck up on me. But here we are, 1st of October, and the first of at least 31 movies, horror movies, I have not seen before in 31 days. And today, as chosen by Leslie...
That's not fair.
Pieces of Talent. Now, this is a completely independent film. Independently made, produced, and distributed. I believe the only way to get it is through the Pieces of Talent website. Yeah, piecesoftalent.com.
Pieces of something.
It's directed by Joe Stauffer, and it's written by Joe and David Long. And essentially it stars David Long playing himself.
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute, that's his name in the movie.
Yep. David Long, named David Long in the movie.
Wow.
And Christy Ray. There's no reason why you should know any of these names, because there's no reason.
There's no reason to after watching the movie.
Well, no, okay. Before we get on to that, what is it about? Leslie!
No, you know I hate that. And because I could go and I could say something, but I'm not good at leaving stuff out, and I will end up ruining it. So.
Too many spoilers, I guess. Okay, so essentially the movie is about, seems like small town America almost. Girl, the character played by Christy Ray, is she wants to be an actress. She's an aspiring actress, but she ain't one. We'll just put it that way. And so she's working as a waitress to essentially pay the bills, though she does live with her mom, and it seems like her mom is living off of her more so than anything, because does her mom work?
Yeah.
As what?
Isn't that like the grocery store or something like that?
I don't
or
know.
she brings in money somehow.
Yeah, she must. Something's going on, but it's not really explained. I think it may have been mentioned, but I completely forgot. But either way, Mom's not the coolest cat. Kind of trashy. You know, kind of woman who will smoke a cigarette and ash out in the sink. You know, instead of a, ashtray. And so, at the strip club, and I guess she was on a break in the back, David Long's character gets beat up by one of the bouncers, and she essentially saves him from mortal danger or something. I don't know. And they develop a friendship, and she learns that David is a filmmaker. And then it kind of goes from there, and, their relationship and all the characters in the film and such, how they're all intertwined and intermingled and related to each other in some way, shape, or form, play out until the end. Thoughts?
First of all, when you said that I picked it, yes, I did. However, you neglected to mention that, I know you don't have a list of the other choices that were available to me, but they were all not good. So, because
you didn't know that. You haven't seen them yet.
Okay, I picked this one because it seemed like maybe it would be okay. And then you said, oh, well, it's supposed to be good and maybe, like, gory and stuff like that. And so I thought, oh, okay. You know, it might not be scary, but, you know, it'll probably be a little gross or something, and I can handle that. Well, okay, whatever, right? And there, yes, it was a tiny bit gross. There was a little bit of gross in there, but it wasn't, like, I've seen worse. It wasn't overly, you know, where you're like, oh, it's horrible, horrible. No, it wasn't. It was just a really stupid movie. It was so stupid. And any video that is for the rest of the 31 Days of Horror that I am a part of, you're probably going to hear me say the same thing. Because, like, you got to get better options. This is like, seriously, it was. And then, yeah, you know, you said, because, yeah, I was complaining while watching the movie because it was that bad. And then he's like, well, you know, it's leading up to something or whatever. And I'm so thinking, okay, where is something? And I'm just like, okay, that's it, really? I was watching.
Yeah, she didn't like the ending.
No! And see, this is where I would like to say more, but I can't because I'll completely give it away. But what happened should not have happened, and I expected something, and I didn't get it.
Yeah. Payoff really wasn't in this film, not like you would expect. And I'm surprised. I have heard a lot of people say they really like Pieces of Talent. And so maybe my expectations were too high, or maybe I was thinking it was something it wasn't, because it wasn't what I expected.
See, and I really had, like, no expectations because I hadn't heard of it at all. Like, even on the back, that's why I was trying to figure out what is it about, right? It doesn't tell you.
No synopsis or anything here.
No, so even with no expectations, it's a crappy movie. Like, it's yeah, you know what? It's bordering with Sight.
Oh no, it's not even close to Sight.
It's bad. Yeah. It's bad.
It's got a number of things that are good, but
like, is there an example that you can say without?
Yes, David Long, and him playing that character it was a good performance. You thought he was creepy right off the bat.
Yes, but I have a feeling if I saw him in real life, I would also think that.
Well, that's quite possible.
Just saying. And it was the look, his overall look.
Not just his look, but the way he was acting and everything. I think he really kind of nailed that character really well. And his character is very, very bizarre. And that's one of the things I kind of liked about this film was, yes, I mean, not to give anything away because it's pretty obvious he's the bad guy. But he's not played like a traditional type of a bad guy. You know, some moments he's nicely dressed and kind of, you know, and then other moments he's running around in his underwear and maybe all oiled up and
yeah,
you know, like there are just really, really weird moments. And so it was one of those things where I think in terms of an artistic feel about the film, there were some his character was very, very interesting.
I don't know if I would say interesting because, well, I don't know.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
I did like some of the parts where it was like his movies, you know what I mean? Where it would introduce like a title.
There's
that was kind of, because that was like, I know it was meant to be like an artsy kind of little thing, right? Well, and it kind of was.
And I was like, that's the thing, and I think that's one of the reasons why you don't like it to the degree that because every time I've put an art film in this, you haven't liked it at all. And that's one thing I didn't know. But this is an art film. This is, and it says it throughout. It tries to tell you throughout the film, I'm making an art film.
Yes.
Like David Long,
Yes.
as David Long, he says it more than once in the film, right? And it's him trying to say, I'm not just making your standard narrative type film. This is something a little bit extra. So when you take it in that sense, I like it a little bit more, but it's too much of a narrative film to be considered a straight up art film, and that's where I have the biggest problem.
Hold on. So what other art film thing did I see and I did not like it? Because I don't remember seeing it.
You don't remember Horsehead last year?
Oh, for God's sakes! Oh!
I think there've been others, but that one really
was bad.
played. Yeah.
That one, did I even say anything about that one? I don't think so, because I had nothing to say.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
You can go back and watch that video.
I'm going to have to check, but I'm pretty sure I did not comment on that.
But I think my biggest problem with Pieces of Talent was it's just so many moments of long pieces of dialogue where people are just talking and talking,
Yes,
which is one of the problems
yes.
we had with Sight.
Yes, see, similar.
Nothing happens, people are just talking.
Yes.
And that's a lot, and of course in this one the acting's better, it's better
Okay,
shot,
yeah,
all that kind of stuff. So
yes.
you know, like, I mean, if you hate dialogue, you're gonna hate Woody Allen movies and all these other, you know, there's a lot of movies that there's just lots and lots and lots of dialogue. But if the dialogue is interesting, if it's presented in an interesting way,
If there's a point.
and stuff and such, I mean, and there are points to a lot of this, but it seems like so much of it, and I could be wrong, but it seemed on first watch that a lot of this dialogue seemed like padding. It was just, here's a scene and you're gonna, because I wouldn't be surprised if there's I don't know. Yeah, there's probably quite a bit of ad-libbing going on in this. Because David Long's involved, because he is a main character, because he, you know, was involved in the writing and the story and all that kind of stuff. I mean, there are moments in there where you're just like, I don't think that was written. I think you just said that. And it you know, it worked in the film because it made it seem a little bit more natural, but at the same time it was just like, did you have to have so much talking? Like, was there any, you know, you don't need to, and this is the thing, when you're looking at it as a narrative film, you can get the point across without having a 5 to 10 minute conversation between two people. You could have had a really short one, managed to do the same thing and moved on. And that's kind of where, and I'm pretty sure Leslie feels the same way. The film, it gets boring.
Yes.
It gets tiresome, and you're just like, all right, enough. I get it. Moving on.
Yeah, you understand the point.
You
know
understand the
what's
point
going on,
pretty
so,
quickly.
Yeah.
And short of, you know, sitting back and dissecting all the words of dialogue and what's going on, what is it, you know, did it relate to something else? Did it, you know, and really breaking down the film, which is hard to do on a first viewing. You know, because you don't know what the whole film's about, you don't know where it's going. So, I mean, it could be that everything is in there and it all meticulously fits into something. But
I would not waste my time trying to.
Yeah, it's one of I don't know. It's a film that I would want to sit back and actually do that to it in order to come away with that kind of understanding of it. But that being said, there were other aspects that I did like. There were some great camera shots, like great scenes where you're just like, oh, that was well done. And like Leslie was saying, she liked some of the parts with the camera where he was doing camera because he is a filmmaker. So there are parts of the film which are told through his, through the camera lens, his first-person perspective as he's shooting the camera, or, sets the camera down to do whatever, capture the scene. So there are moments of that, and those are generally the action sequences, if you will, for the most part, right? So yeah, I'd say they are the most entertaining portions of this film, because the rest of it is generally standard person perspective, and mostly dialogue, and it's not even to any great big payoff at the end.
No.
Which was disappointing. I get it because
yes,
it makes sense, but give me something.
Yeah.
Give me something. And yeah, it's I'm just surprised for something that's only a couple years old. And like I said, it's all independent, so it was word of mouth that essentially got this out there. And that's how I found out about it. And, like I said, people were saying I really enjoyed this film. And I've heard it many, many, many times. But I find it so odd that the people who, generally I'm hearing this kind of stuff from are, well, they're horror fans. But, I mean, they don't seem like the kind who are really into this kind of a horror movie. Like, it really is slow.
Yeah, it's very slow.
Right? And slow without obvious purpose. I'm going to say that because, again, like I said, I've only seen it once. But I've known a lot of people. I've seen them. They've picked it up. They've done it. I bought this. Collection pickup videos and all that kind of stuff. So a lot of people have this. In fact, I won a secondary copy in a contest because I ended up with 2 copies. So a lot of people have this movie, but it's weird because I don't hear any negative. So it's almost like people are scared to say something bad about the film.
I'm not.
Because all I hear are the positives or the nothings at all.
Now, should I be scared?
I don't know.
That David guy? Is he
Maybe.
from Canada?
You might. Who knows? But yeah, there are things in the film which visuals and such, which I was like, that's cool. I like that. Like I said, David's performance, I really liked his performance. I just long in the tooth, and it's only 90 minutes long.
That's the thing. It's not like it's a long movie.
It's not.
It just feels that way.
Not a long movie at all, but it really feels drawn out. You don't get a sense of a direction of this is where we're going. It's just sort of, it's just happening, and it's taking a long time to happen.
I kept checking the clock actually because I was thinking, how much longer? Like, huh? I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. I don't know.
Are you going to watch the bonus footage?
Well, I'll look at everything. I'll probably even watch this another couple of times over the course of everything, but I would not recommend it. Everybody else has recommended pieces of talent. I would not recommend the film unless I knew you personally. I knew what you were into. Because if you're into something like that, there are some gore moments, but it's not a gore film.
No.
So, if that's what you're looking for, it's not for you.
Don't watch it.
It's not for you. If you're into art films, it's kind of half there.
That's what it kind of felt to me. It felt like something that somebody in film school or something like that would do. It felt like you don't really know exactly what you're doing yet, or not that. I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Do you know what I'm trying to say? I just like...
Yeah, I don't know. It's yeah, I expected more. I just expected more. And I don't know what I was expecting, but that wasn't it. That was not it.
Well, I mean, you look at the cover, and you know he's there, and there's lots of hands, and he's covered in blood and everything. So, from just looking at that, I expected it's gonna be really gross, and you know a lot of gross stuff is gonna happen, and that's what
Yeah.
I thought. And yes, there are some things, like I said, that are a little gross, and you know, yeah, you wouldn't want stuff like that to happen to you.
Yeah.
But nothing over. I kind of was expecting like over the top, or you know what I mean, like oh, I haven't seen that before, or but no.
Or something. Yeah, and I mean the fact that it says right on the back here, this film contains explicit content not suitable for persons under 18 years of age.
Now, would that be just for the movie or for the extra stuff? Maybe there's worse things in the extra stuff.
It says this film.
Because, yeah, I didn't find the film, it's not like... And there's, like, some nudity in it, but there isn't, like, any, like, sexual
Nope.
stuff or any...
It's
you know
only
what I mean?
it's only
Like,
breast type stuff, and it's not like it's hardcore nudity or anything like that,
no, so I don't know.
right? And outside of that, then it's a little bit of gore, but I mean there are worse movies like
Way
everywhere.
worse. Way worse.
Everywhere.
What was that cannibal one? Do you know what that was rated? Was that 18 as well?
I don't know. This isn't rated.
What says...
Not
Well,
rated.
But it says, like, 18 or whatever.
Well, it's saying not suitable for
Suggest.
people, but it's not rated. Honestly, if this was rated, it'd probably only be rated 14A or something like that. But yeah,
What stars would you give?
stars. If I had to give it a star
We'll
rating,
just do out of 5.
I don't know, 2.5, probably.
Yeah, I'm at like a 1.5.
Yeah. So. Well, we've started off the 31 Days of Horror really well this year.
It better get better, because, gosh.
Yeah. So, one of the problems is I packed up the 31 Days of Horror because expected we'd have moved already.
Yeah.
But
that's taking longer than expected.
that's, yes, it's only thing longer than that movie.
That's
It only works for us because this has been a long process.
yes. Oh yeah, they won't understand.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've talked about it on the videos,
Yes.
and you know it's been going on for a while, but until you actually go through it, shopping for a house for almost a year.
It's been a year.
Has it been a year
It's
now?
been a little over a year.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have a house and you'd like to sell it to us.
Yeah. So, there you go. Hopefully day 2 turns out a little bit better. Fingers crossed. Till next video, take care. Have a good one. We didn't.